What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys will help us get there. Alright, so this is our Season 3, Episode 4 review for American Gods here on Rants. Overall, I've enjoyed this season so far, and Episode 4 wasn't that much different. In fact, I would say Episode 4 is one of my favorite episodes of the season so far. Where to begin? Probably my favorite part of it was the fact that they actually gave Shadow Moon something to do. He's been in Lakeside for most of the season, eating pastries, and really hasn't done a lot to further the story. He's kind of been in a island to himself. And so I was actually actually really enjoyed the aspect that he actually got back to where he is at his best, and that's on a road trip. Now, of course, the first two seasons, he was on a road trip with Mr. Wednesday, and they had a really good chemistry, but surprisingly enough, Tech Boy and him on this road trip that they're currently on is actually have some chemistry. I've actually enjoyed the back and forth between the two, even though it's quite violent. To say the least. I like how Shadow Moon, who is normally a pretty peaceful character, really one that doesn't really want conflict until he absolutely has to have it, just beats Tech Boy up at any chance that he gets. But hey, that's kind of the fun of it. I can't say Tech Boy hasn't deserved it. But overall, I enjoyed that aspect of this episode probably the most of all. But there were some other good parts. I really enjoyed the beginning stories that told of how the Orishas actually arrived here in America. It was kind of a sad aspect, anytime when they go back to the days of slavery. And that's where a lot of these gods actually did come over, is, from people that are, come to this new land, in different forms and fashions. Some coming for opportunity, some just trying to hold on to the land that was already theirs when it comes to Native Americans. And then some of course, with the African Americans who come over here from Africa, being slaves and having to go through the persecution and relying upon these old gods to maybe find some faith in ability to hold on during those harsh times. And I enjoyed that aspect of it. Also, even back to Tech Boy, I actually really enjoyed this new and improved Tech Boy. He was one of my least favorite characters for most of, the previous two seasons. But I thought he actually did. I thought this season he's been less annoying. I don't know. I think the thing that annoyed me the most about Tech Boy the first two seasons is he was just way too in your face. He just had no respect for anybody, and sometimes that's great with characters. I thought it works with Mad Sweeney, but I thought it was just I don't know, it was something about Tech Boy's personality. It just really annoyed me. But they've really toned it down this season, and I've actually enjoyed his character quite a lot. Even before this team up with Shadow Moon. I knew that something was going to happen when Bilquis, kind of touched him. And, he was able to see, all this war and stuff that was going on in his brain. But now he's kind of glitching out, and he's kind of in a desperate place where that he has to rely upon, someone else to help him along in his journey. Which, I still don't understand why it's Shadow Moon. I don't understand. I understand why Shadow Moon needs Tech Boy, because Tech Boy, of course has the phone and of course has all the information, but I don't really know what Shadow Moon brings to the table except companionship at this point. You can really see the fear in Tech Boy's eyes, and I don't really know if Tech Boy believes that maybe having Shadow Moon with him when they find Bilquis will actually be a way of, I don't know, convincing her to, keep him, or to unglitch him, basically. I don't really know exactly his game in it. I know it's something, but it's going to be something that isn't a positive thing. There's nothing really good about Tech Boy in that regard. He's not doing it, for anything other than to gain something. And the only thing I can think of is that he feels like having Shadow Moon with him when he meets Bilquis will be a way to, create kind of a union between the two, or a common ground, maybe a bridge to be able to get her to fix him. That's the only thing I can really think about it, because I understand why Shadow Moon needs him. I'm not quite sure exactly why Tech Boy needs him, but I believe that will be found out in the next episode. Overall, I mean, I loved I loved how in this episode how Tech Boy freaked out that head of security. They go and they find out that it was that that tech guy's child that actually, or I guess the child's security that actually took Bilquis. Kind of always made me wonder exactly how Bilquis was so easily taken. After all, she is a god, and I felt like she maybe could have put up even more of a fight. I get it, she did kill one of them, but still, it didn't really add up that she was so easily taken. But I loved how when Tech Boy and Shadow Moon actually, they kidnapped the head of security for this tech giant's daughter, and he's not telling them anything, and then all of a sudden, Shadow Moon gets Tech Boy to glitch out, and then that causes him to, this guy to believe, oh my goodness, I'm going to get probed here, because they tell him that it's all about that they're aliens and all that other stuff. That was actually one of the more funny moments of this episode. But this episode actually had a few moments that actually did really kind of make me chuckle when I did watch it. But that was just one of my favorite moments of this. Another one of my favorite moments of it is no Lakeside. Now, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed Shadow Moon being in Lakeside, but his character never progressed anything. Everybody else was doing something around him, and he was just kind of hanging out and just, like I said, eating pastries for like most of these episodes, or trying on coats, or warming himself by the fire, or reading old articles. But it was really nothing that really furthered the story to a large extreme. So I was kind of glad that they got him back in his natural habitat of being on road trips. And, that's where I just feel like his character is at its best, is being on these road trips and, interacting with someone that he's completely opposite to, which of course usually it's Mr. Wednesday, now it's Tech Boy. But I did enjoy that aspect of it. I will say I want them to revisit Lakeside. I just hope that they give maybe at least one more episode to Tech Boy and Shadow Moon teaming up to find Bilquis. It looks like, according to the promo for the next or the preview for the next episode, that she's probably going to free herself. So whether they find her or not, I don't know. But another thing, Mr. World, or I guess I should say Miss World. I don't know if I know, well, I won't say I don't know, because I do know. I do not like Miss World. I do not like anything about her. She's kind of like another version of Tech Boy in that way. She's too in your face. She's too hostile. I was glad that Crispin Glover returned as Mr. World, though I will say I don't really know if I like him changing back and forth between the two. What is the point of that? I've never figured that out throughout this episode. Is what was the point of him turning back do Crispin Glover. Not unless that is how Bilquis knew him when he went to go interrogate Bilquis. He changed back into Crispin Glover in Mr. World. But maybe that's how she knew him, and maybe it was a familiar face. Maybe that was it. But other than that, I really don't understand exactly what was the point of him switching back. Even though I am glad, I hope he don't return back to Miss World. I don't want to see her again. I just like nothing about her character. She was too violent, too hostile, where Crispin Glover's Mr. World was more kind of sadistic, but you didn't know if he was going to act out volatile, or if he was just going to make a threat, or if he's just going to be just his normal creepy self. Like, I enjoyed that aspect of not knowing what he was capable of, where with Miss World, I just knew she was going to be violent. As soon as she got the opportunity, she was just going to be violent. So it really kind of took the mystery out of that character for me. Like I said, I don't know why Crispin Glover's back, but I am really glad that he's back. But as far as Laura in Purgatory, I thought last episode was interesting in that she found out a little bit about herself that she, I guess, had forgotten. I guess she had blamed herself for all the wrongs that had happened to her. Blamed herself for all the wrongs that had happened to her in her life. That she completely just lost her humanity and just used sarcasm as a way to deal with her emotions. But her having that song Requiem, I forget how it goes. It was Requiem to Balder, or it was some song in her head, and to me it just kind of happened out of nowhere, which it makes me think that's a reference to the books, and I won't give away what that reference is, but it does have to do with Shadow Moon. That's the only thing I can think of about that. I do not understand why they just happened to just add that seemingly out of nowhere. Though it was kind of a really cool experience when Sweeney's blood mixed with that I think it was called Gree, and her ashes, and it brought her back to life. And all you see, she's talking to that one guy in Purgatory, and then all of a sudden it's just like she gets sucked into basically the universe around her, brought back to her body, and apparently I guess brought back to life as well. But that actually did kind of answer some stuff about Mad Sweeney. According I guess to that, what was it? Baron Samedi said that it had to be mixed with the love of someone that loved her, and that Gree did, and that was going to be somehow going to be able to bring her back to life. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened when that Gree potion was stepped on by that caretaker, and it mixed with her ashes, and it brought her back to life, which is actually kind of sad, because you could tell Mad Sweeney had a thing for her, but apparently it was actually true love. And I hope that there's some way that they can bring Mad Sweeney back either this season or next season. I know he's got a job in that Halo series, but I'm still holding out hope he will return as Mad Sweeney, at least at some point. I really enjoyed him and Laura Moon's scenes. It was really, if there was a love story to be had in American Gods, I kind of felt like that was probably the more appropriate one, the better one. I feel like Shadow Moon and her are just on completely different levels. And so I feel like, even though, yes, she is kind of in love with Shadow Moon, she did have feelings for Mad Sweeney. And I'm hoping that some way, by her taking that coin, that she is going to that she's going to find some way to bring him back. That's what I'm hoping. I know when she was given the ashes by that caretaker, that was Mad Sweeney. or of Mad Sweeney. I thought she was going to put the coin in there. Maybe that was a way to bring him back to life. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. She never did that. But, I don't understand why she would take the coin unless it was some way that she felt like she was going to bring him back. I don't know how, if he don't return, I don't know exactly how Mr. Wednesday would get his spear back in the first place. So, they've got to do something to maybe bring him back. Maybe she is, her going to Mr. Wednesday maybe is all part of Mr. Wednesday's plan to maybe resurrect Mad Sweeney and maybe get his spear back. I don't know. I've wondered that. I hope that's the case. I would love to see Mad Sweeney again. But let's face it, now that she's back human again, I don't know if she has her super strength. She has no chance of taking out Mr. Wednesday. So why she's going back to the funeral parlor, I don't know. I don't know if it's to interact with Mr. Ibis to maybe bring Mad Sweeney back, or if it is to kill Mr. Wednesday. It would make sense because she did ask a woman in there if she had seen Mad Sweeney, and she said no. So she's probably kind of curious as to where Mad Sweeney exactly is when it comes to the afterlife. So that might be something to look forward to in the future. Another thing, even back to the Bilquis thing, I think these last couple episodes, she's slowly been losing her mind. I thought it was out of guilt, which it still could be. But I think it was a loss of self. I think she got to the point where she didn't recognize who she was. And I think that's very telling in that she couldn't even remember her name. She couldn't even remember her beginning, which she was finally, when she met with the Orisha. I don't remember which one it even was. But when that Orisha come back to her and met her in that jail cell, she was able to remember, hey, I'm a part of this. I remember, who I am again. And so, it's a retelling of just her powers that I guess she's going to reclaim. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do with Bilquis in the future. Maybe, just maybe, this is her after being imprisoned by the new gods, basically. This is maybe her chance to just turn her back on them completely and totally. And when Mr. World went and visited her, he was like, hey, you've got to bring me this guy that you murdered, and since you can't bring him back, then, we're probably going to have to kill you. I didn't understand why he didn't just kill her then, though. If he knew that there was no way that they could bring that tech guy back, or the head of that tech company back, then I don't understand why he just didn't kill her then, if that's what he thought. But I don't know. Maybe he knows something that we don't know yet. Probably the last thing that was probably one of the funniest things was Mr. Wednesday. He was at that biker bar for most of the episode. And, of course, it was his way of mixing and mingling with his followers. And, it kind of shocked me when that everybody was like, praying to Odin and, giving thanks to Odin. And, of course, you meet Johan. And I actually enjoy, of course, I guess we met Johan before, but this is where you really get a good sense of his personality. Johan, is a berserker. And, I really enjoyed Marilyn Manson in this role. I thought Marilyn Manson did a really good job. I don't normally enjoy Marilyn Manson's acting. Like I've said before, every time I see Marilyn Manson now, I don't think of his music. I think of that last season of Sons of Anarchy, and I still hold a little bit of a grudge, just a little bit of a grudge, towards his part in making that last season that bad. But that's just me. I'll probably never let that go for the rest of my life. But I thought he did a really good job here. I'm really curious to see, was it Mr. Wednesday or was it Johan that actually blew up the biker bar at the very end? I'm assuming, if I had to guess, it was Mr. Wednesday's plan to blow up that. But why wouldn't he blow up his followers? It's not like he's got, boatloads and boatloads of followers. So why kill your own followers? Not unless they had given him everything that they could give him, and the last thing to give him was the sacrifice in his name. So that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe it was his way of gathering enough strength to be able to get back Demeter. I don't know, but him going crazy at the very end and taking his pants off and running through the streets naked, singing, and all that kind of stuff, I just thought that was just like a really fun way to end, or almost end the episode, or end his scenes for this episode. Classic, Mr. Wednesday. Ian McShane has done a fabulous job with this character. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, actor of this show. I mean, hands down, he is just a gem. Like, he's just an absolute gem. I think this is his way of maybe getting put in an insane asylum with maybe Demeter. I don't know. I'm assuming that's where he's going with this, and all of this is a ruse, and it's just a ruse maybe to try to get Shadow Moon, who turned him down earlier in this episode, to join him in his quest to get Demeter. Maybe this is his way of getting him back. I don't know. Apparently it didn't work at first. Of course, it looks like Shadow Moon isn't going to stop until he comes across Bilquis. So that might last till the end of the season, or that might last till next episode. I don't know. But that at the end of the day, he's going to be reunited with Mr. Wednesday. But, overall, I enjoyed this episode. I thought this was one of the best episodes of the season. I'm looking forward to the next episode, episode 5. What is it, 5 now? So they're almost done with this season. It's hard to believe this season is almost halfway done, or is halfway done. But season 3, if you thought season 2 was boring, which I actually enjoyed season 2, I know a lot of people hated it. If you hated season 2 and you hated the pacing of it, you're probably really enjoying season 3. I know I am. I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about how Mr. Wednesday is going to get Demeter out of that insane asylum. Whether or not Shadow Moon will come across Bilquis, whether he'll save Bilquis, or whether Bilquis is going to save herself. I'm assuming Bilquis is going to save herself, though. Another thing is will Tech Boy be healed of whatever is causing him to glitch out? So many things, Will we be able to find out why Laura Moon is going back to the funeral parlor? Is it to resurrect Sweeney? Is it to kill Mr. Wednesday? Does she still have her powers since she's back alive and no longer has the coin inside of her? What is her reason for going back to that funeral parlor? That will not be answered, unfortunately, until the next episode. But overall, guys, I would give this episode probably about an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I've been kind of giving these episodes kind of like a 6 or 7. But I really thought this episode was probably one of the best ones. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. And if I missed anything, let me know, guys. But that's just kind of my take on my short little review of American Gods episode 4. But like I said, let me know if I missed anything, or leave a comment down below just to tell me about the review. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.